and with the blink of an eye, an innocent life is subject to a preventable death due to the irresponsible act of another human being. DUIs have taken the lives of many human citizens at an impetuous rate, according to Mothers Against Drunk Driving. In 2019, 10,142 people were killed by drunk drivers. That's 29 people killed every day, or one person every 50 minutes. The punishment for this offense is minimal in comparison to the trauma, devastation, and destruction it causes. Unfortunately, driving under the influence has become one of America's most deadliest crimes with minimal or no remorse. As it stands today, according to the Fatality Analysis Reporting System. Hi, my name is Maisha Brown, and today I am going to share that if the penalties for driving under the influence offenses were more severe, innocent lives would be saved from wrongful DUI killings. First, I'm going to talk with you about what is drunk driving. Secondly, I'm going to discuss the current consequences and punishments for driving under the influence and why they should be changed. Lastly, I want to give ways that we as citizens can reduce people from driving under the influence. What is driving under the influence? Well, it varies from state to state, but ultimately, driving under the influence is operating or being in an actual physical control of a vehicle and being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. DUI involves operating a vehicle with a blood alcohol concentration of at least 0.08%. California DUI laws specifically state it is unlawful for a person who has 0.08% or more by weight of alcohol in his or her blood to drive a vehicle. The punishment and consequences for this crime. Impaired driving can cause deaths to multiple parties, including those that did not partake in consumption. Alcohol-impaired driving fatalities accounted for 29% of all motor traffic fatalities in the United States, according to National Center for Statistics and Analysis. Current consequences for first-time offenders are not harsh enough. Charges range from minimal misdemeanor to felony offenses, and penalties for impaired driving can include driver's license revocation, fines, and jail time, according to NHTSA. Following a criminal conviction, at least 22 states have diversion programs that allow convicted drinking drivers to ultimately escape criminal sanctions by entering alcohol education programs, alcohol treatment facilities, or other programs that permit judgment or prosecution to be deferred, according to J Public Health. We need harsher punishments so that we can see a decrease in accidents and killings. If more people saw the consequences of driving under the influence, then they would be less likely to partake in this vicious activity. Longer license suspension, heavier fines, and mandatory jail time should be added to the list of consequences for first-time offenders. Harsh punishments at the beginning will result in less second or third-time offenders. Next, we need to do something as citizens. What can we do to push so that we can reduce DUIs? We could utilize our technology, social media, public commercial billboards, nonprofit organizations, or other resources to push for more advertisement against drunk driving. We can use third-party apps such as Uber and Lyft, as they have been shown to reduce the amount of people driving under the influence by planning ahead. We should invest in the advertising of these apps, specifically in areas where there is high volume of driving under the influence and alcohol intake, such as clubs, bars, and other social events. We could also do more widespread public knowledge of organizations that specifically fight against driving under the influence and drinking and driving, such as Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Students Against Destructive Decisions, and Teens Against Drunk Driving. In conclusion, drunk and drugged driving comes with a cost, and it is one that robs us as mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, spouses, and friends. In closing, drunk driving crimes have taken the lives of far too many innocent citizens, and the punishment for this unlawful crime nowhere matches the traumatic devastation caused. Backtrack affirmed that drivers with a blood alcohol concentration level of 0.08% or higher who were involved in fatal crashes were 4 times more likely to have a prior conviction for driving under the influence. than were drivers with no alcohol in their system, which is an indicator of unjust and poor punishment for driving drunk in America, as offenders are not even afraid to repeat the exact crime based on negligible punishment for their careless acts. It is unsettling within me, and it should be within you, after much research, to think if a person is arrested and sentenced to minimal misdemeanor charges for such a crime as driving under the influence, there's a high chance that that same person will drink and drive again, given the chance to potentially take the life of me, of you, or of one of our family members. We must get involved directly and push for tougher sentencing, increase funding for deliberate public advertisement, become parts of organizations against driving under the influence, as well as increasing free ride share 24/7 for those intoxicated, in addition to advocating for more severe punishment for such a crime that murders the lives of innocent victims on a daily basis. Please don't drink and drive.